Paradise Production.
What's up? What's happening? Welcome back to another edition of the Minor League Take. I'm your host, and this week we got Aaron Shortridge, one of the coolest, smoothest dudes out there. How you doing today, man?
Hey, dude. How's it going? I appreciate it.
It's good, man. Thanks for coming on. Shorty, you went to Cal Berkeley, right? No,
I did. I went to UC Berkeley.
UC Berkeley.
Go Bears.
Went there for 3 years. Got drafted by the Pirates, and we played 2 years together. Technically 2 years together, right? We're on the same team
I first
twice.
met you in short season in Morgantown. Later, you had just been promoted. And I think that was at Penn State. That was at State College.
Yeah.
I remember that. That was
Absolutely.
when I met you.
Mhm.
And then we played in
High A together.
Braden High A
Yeah.
together.
But let's start where we start with everybody on here. Give me an idea of what high school baseball looked like for Aaron Shortridge.
High school baseball. I had really good coaches and teammates. That's the first thing I think of. Well, I went to Vintage High School. That is one of 4 high schools in Napa. There's a private school, there's a technical school, and then there's another public high school, Napa High, and that's kind of our rival. So I went to Vintage.
Were you one of the guys? Sorry.
No, you're good. What's up?
Were you one of the guys that was dominating on the field from an early age, or did it take you a little bit of time to grow into it?
Yeah, I was always pretty cracked on the baseball field. It was like I loved. I raked. I played shortstop, pitched. I moved a little different than other kids, but like I wasn't like Bryce Harper,
Yeah.
Like I wasn't like one of those kids. Like I had teammates in high school that were right there with me,
Yeah. You still obviously had to be pretty good from a young age to get recruited by a place like Cal Berkeley. How did they come across you?
I spent my first year in high school on JV, and I played really well. Ended up going to varsity for playoffs my freshman year of high school. So that introduced me to Rich Anderson, who is still in my life. He's always supported me, and he's just kind of a leader that I've always looked up to for so many reasons. But basically, Rich Anderson coached Mike New, who was the pitching coach at Cal at the time while I was in high school. And Rich, floated my name, and along with Jared Horn, who was a year younger than I was.
Yeah.
And we'll get to him. But and basically Rich was like, hey, come check these 2 kids out. They'll throw bullpens for you. So Jared and I threw a bullpen during school one day, not during class. It was like during lunch or something.
Yeah.
Played catch, both threw bullpens. Jared sat like 93 to 95 as a freshman in high school. Hadn't played a game in high school yet.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I was sitting, probably 86 to 88.
Yeah.
Right where I love to be, and doing my thing. And Jared ended up getting a full ride offer that day. I didn't get a single call.
Shit.
Like nothing happened. Like there was no Cal. So that was my first contact with Cal. And then, but it wasn't like I was happy for Jared. Like he was like, of course you want that too. And like, but like he threw, there, it was like, okay, that's kind of what we're looking for. That makes sense. So,
yeah.
Basically played 3 years of varsity baseball at Vintage, and played a lot of shortstop. Never really, hit like a monster. Played defense like I could pick it, man. I miss that.
I hear you talking all the time whenever we get to do some PFPs. You're like, dude, come on, put me in shortstop for a day, coach. Come on.
Yeah, I got a lot of pride about that position. Just it's fun over there. And then basically, pitched, played shortstop. I played all over the place too. I played third base, second base, wherever I wanted, wherever they wanted me.
Wherever they needed, yeah.
Yeah. And basically kind of got into the summer ball thing, like with Trotsky baseball. I got to go to an area code tryout through Rich and Mike New connection. Mike New kind of got me to the tryout, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I go out there and it was like summer before my junior year, I think.
Okay.
I went to this tryout, and I probably wasn't throwing fuel, but I struck out like 4 out of 5 or like 5 out of 6 or something.
Yeah,
that's
gotta be a pretty good feeling.
And I was like, hell yeah. And then I looked at my phone afterwards, and I had I swear, like 25 voicemails. And I'm like, what the heck is this? And they're all college coaches. And I was like, hell yeah. And I basically was like, all right, now I'm officially like, I'm being recruited. Like I'm like at all these schools. I'm like, okay, I'm in a good position now.
That's when all finally starts.
Yeah. And that gave me a lot of confidence too. And I wasn't like out here, I got an offer from here and here and here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I was, different Aaron in high school, but basically, I was really interested in playing in college because that would be cool, right? And I love baseball.
Hell yeah! So, yeah. Who wouldn't want to play college baseball?
Who wouldn't? And basically played and kind of gave schools like a date that I was kind of going to make a decision on, just so I could see schools and think about things.
The whole process. Yeah, you were still, you hadn't even started your junior year of high school yet.
This is this summer after my junior year is when
okay,
I'm like,
all right, yeah. I was gonna say that's normally when people make that choice. Yeah.
And basically go out to do some USA baseball stuff in Raleigh. And the date is like during that. And I'm playing really well, playing really good shortstop over there.
Awesome.
And I had like 4 offers on the table.
Were these only to pitch there, or was this to two-way?
Yeah. So the four out of the 5 offers, except for Cal, were two-way, right?
Damn.
And I'm like, of course, wanted to do that,
mm-hmm.
but Cal was not only D1, but it was Pac-12. That's the best. That like on the West Coast, that's the best. That's the best baseball, I think.
Yeah,
college
absolutely.
baseball you're going to get. So that was big in that decision because I did want to play professional baseball. I knew I could do that.
You already had your mind kind of on that path.
Yeah, because I had a couple like shortstop looks in high school by scouts, so I knew like I had a chance to be a pro ball guy. So I wanted to throw myself into the Pac-12 and be around the best. So that's
definitely a smart move.
Yeah. And then basically in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I told my stepdad, I think it's Cal, and it was just a walk-on at the time.
Really?
Yeah. Like it was like I chose school, and just so many reasons. Like Cal's a freaking amazing school. Like Pac-12, all this stuff. And it's just a bigger school too. And then I called Mike New and said I commit, and that's what that got started there. And then eventually got minimum before I signed the NLI. Like they were able to throw some money at me, and I was like,
that's fantastic. Yeah.
I really appreciate that. So
I feel like that's a pretty big risk, going with the school that not only are they not asking you to two-way, they're asking, just to walk on initially. And they do end up giving you money, which is fantastic, which everybody loves, but that's impressive that you were like, no, this is the right decision. This is the right move for me. So you went with that.
Yeah. Yeah, and another part was like I didn't have a lot of confidence hitting
Oh,
for
really?
whatever reason. Dude, like I can go in the cage and like hit BP and make it look like I'm a beast, but get in the game, I'm too like I think too much and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
um, so I wasn't confident with hitting, and like I was like I'm gonna be a pitcher.
Yeah, I
I know how to
gotcha.
pitch.
With someone
So
with one professional at bat under their belt, it's really, really hard.
yeah, no doubt,
Yeah.
no doubt.
But you did mention something that I like to talk about a lot on here. You already had your kind of visions and sights on playing pro ball from a pretty young age. Like for me, it didn't happen until I was like maybe 19, 20 years old. But the moment I like to call it is the if to when moment. If I play pro ball to when I play pro ball. So when did you personally have that kind of moment?
Um, well, I could go as far back as like 4 years old. Like
You always knew that it was an opportunity for you.
I knew I was a baseball player. Like I was
That's sick.
like I was like, and my dad. Part of this is my dad. My dad was like almost at a narcissistic level of pushing me towards baseball because he knew I had it, and like it was this like weird thing.
Yeah.
And I could just throw things really well, and I could emulate Tim Lincecum and like do all this stuff. And I love baseball, dude. Like I
Yeah.
just always have my entire life, and so it was like always wanted it. But to answer the if and when, like there were times in college when I thought I'm not going to make it to pro ball. Like
Really?
I can't even, dude, my first 2 years of college, I struggled so much, especially
Well,
my
I got your
freshman year.
numbers. I got your numbers pulled up right here, and we're gonna get into it when we get there. But I really don't think they were that bad. I don't know what was
Well,
to freak out about.
I mean, just,
Not freak out, worry.
there were things that I had to clean up. And like, I mean, it wasn't just baseball and stuff, but like, there were, there's rite of passage for me in college that, I had to find out like, do I love this game? That kind of stuff. Like,
Do I love it enough to put all this time and pressure and energy into it?
I mean, yeah, that and um, just flat out believing in myself, man. Like
Yeah.
when you get challenged, especially at a place like Cal in the classroom, while you're being challenged on the baseball field, um, and in the weight room, all this stuff that comes with being an athlete in college.
Mhm.
Like it's a lot, man. And like I was navigating it all, and like there were highs and lows, and all that kind of stuff, and being able to come out on top of it was kind of the when. Like I was like, once I got a grip on it all came together my junior year.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'm heading directly for professional baseball.
That's awesome.
My goal was get drafted.
Mhm.
My junior year, that was my thing. I got
You
an
had to go there,
agent.
put up the numbers,
Like,
get all that stuff done, and let the rest take care of
dude,
itself.
I literally was like, I'm gonna just go out there, have fun, and just let it eat
That's
because I
awesome.
want to get drafted, and I have an opportunity to do it. And
Hell yeah.
I just started believing it. The more I did, the more confident I got. Just how everything goes in that
Yeah.
regard. But
That's
yeah,
awesome. So
a lot of fun.
let's start out with your freshman year of college. And I mean, looks like you were a reliever. You only threw like 15 innings, but you had like a 5 ERA. Was this kind of one of the points where you were a little discouraged and you were starting to worry about, if pro ball was going to continue to be in the future?
Um, it wasn't even remotely on my mind. My
You weren't
freshman
too
year.
worried then?
Dude, I was so lost in the classroom and so like just lost as a person.
Yeah.
Like when you're that age, like, I mean, looking back, it's like, dude, it was just a lot. And I was just navigating it all. My
Yeah.
head wasn't exactly right. And my God, just was kind of buried. And baseball, I wasn't prepared basically at all to compete. I had some good outings. made some strides, but a lot of stuff just took me away from being able to focus on it, lacking confidence. And like when you're a freshman, there's a lot of pressure, from upperclassmen coaches. So when I got to Cal, my pitching coach, Mike New, that recruited me, took a head coaching job at UOP before I even got there.
Damn.
But he actually took the head coaching job at Cal for my junior year. So there
Good
was
little reunion.
Yeah, it was just it was nice to have him back. But like freshman, sophomore year, we were, it was me trying to figure my stuff out,
Yeah. I mean, it definitely looks like you learned a lot and grew a lot, because you went from a 5.4 ERA to having under a 2 ERA and striking out like twice as many guys. Well, dude, that's like the number jump there is unreal. What were some of the things that changed?
Growing up, training, focusing a little bit on that, just having the priorities straight. I was cleaning it up in the classroom, making sure I just had the ability to, be an athlete, be a college athlete and go play. And it took me a while to figure it out. But towards the end, I found it against U of A. Had like a 4-inning long relief outing on a Sunday, and we ruined their chances of hosting that year.
Damn,
big
that's
strikeout.
Gotta feel a little good, yeah.
Yeah, it was like I remember a big strikeout against JJ Matajevic, my changeup, 3-2 count, just a
Just
battle.
a picture it in your head.
Yeah, and then I remember Jared Oliva.
Oh shit!
Hitting a seed off of a hanging slider that I threw him. I don't know if it was a seed.
Yeah,
you have to ask him, but I always tell him he raked me in college. I think I only faced him once, but
yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, and then basically from there, that U of A thing. Then I went to the Northwoods and just had a blast all summer. I was like pitching. Yeah, and I just found out how to pitch again. I felt like I always knew, and I just found my groove, and that just rolled right into the fall of my junior year, into my spring, and boom, it all came together.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it looks like your first 2 years you didn't start a whole ton, but then obviously your junior year you started 12 of 17 games and put up a 2.9 ERA. Like you really came out and started dominating. And is this right around the time? Was it your sophomore year, or was it until junior year where like the pro interest started really generating around you?
Junior year, I wasn't on a single board until fall.
Really?
My junior year, nobody knew who I was because I didn't throw hard. Like I had no role at all freshman or sophomore year. Like I was very inconsistent. So.
Yeah, I got you.
I think the fall when I started cutting up Vonnie a little bit kind of gave me Andrew Vaughn.
Andrew Vaughn, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not like there were a couple in the fall, dude. Like you want to get the best guys out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you see the best guy you get up there. Yeah,
yeah. And we had thumpers. We had like Jonah Davis, Vonnie, Tanner Dodson, Ty Green. Just a bunch of dudes who raked. Like we were nasty. Our lineup was like a lineup you did not want to face. And I think I just handled them pretty well that fall.
Yeah.
That got my name out there a little bit, and then moved into the spring and just kept rolling, man. Took me a while to earn a starting spot. Not a while, but once I got the starting role, it was like, boom, let's go to work.
Yeah, you
turned into a horse.
You mentioned earlier, just you weren't throwing as hard. What was it for most of college? Was your velo like just upper 80s for most of it?
Yeah,
and
87, then, 88.
And then what happened? Because now you're always. I feel like every time I play with you, it's 93, 95 for the most part.
Well, my junior year, obviously I knew I didn't throw that hard. So
Yeah.
like that was once I was like dialed on the pitching side of things, I couldn't miss. I've always been a command guy, and I
Mhm.
would literally throw 75 to 80 fastballs a game.
Yeah.
Just throwing fastballs. And I got life on it, and it spins good and deceptive. I got extension. And that's all I needed in college to get by. But the velo. Well, I was trying to throw a little harder. I touched a couple 94s.
There we go.
I think if I had even sniffed a 95, it would have made me a lot more money for some
Yeah.
like it was like 95 was like that number, and I just couldn't freaking get it. But I didn't need it either. That was the thing.
Mhm.
But I also was like, I had no concept of maintenance and like all this stuff. I was in college, like,
Yeah, taking care of yourself.
dude, I was like eating. I didn't care what I was eating. I was like, I'd start on a Sunday and the boys would celebrate, hopefully after a series win that Sunday, and like a recovery out the window. But you have 7 days to your next start. So
Yeah, so it was so much more
whatever.
time in college. It was so much easier. I remember like just going out and like not caring, and then my arm feeling like crap the next day, and be like, oh man, it's supposed to be how it
Just
is.
the
And
way
now I
she
know.
goes. Yeah.
Yeah, now I know. I'm like, oh, I have to go home and not drink.
Yeah.
Don't go drink beers. Go drink some water, and I'll feel much better. But
Yeah.
all part of the learning process.
Yeah.
But hey, so you're going into you have a great junior year, you kill it. And the draft is, seeming like a very, very, very popular thing, that it's going to happen for you. Was it the Pirates the whole way through, or did you think it might have been some other teams?
Well, all 30 teams gave me their forms. So I was like, that's pretty good because all 30
yeah,
teams.
that's what you want.
So, yeah. So that was cool. And then we had all these meetings, like Cardinals, Pirates, Yankees, Giants, A's, D-backs. They'd just come to town and ask to get do some like an interview type thing at like the nearest Starbucks. And that was always cool. I felt pretty cool when I'd go meet a scout at Starbucks and talk baseball, and then go through all the eval stuff. But some meetings were, I don't want to say better than others, but like,
no, that's exactly how they go. Yeah.
The Pirates, my signing scout, Mike Sanso, who I still stay in touch with, along with the other signees that we have in our org. He just stays in touch. We all stay in touch, which I think is awesome. The meeting I had with him, it was like he was just trying to get to know me as a dude, like who I am, what's my character, stuff that I was impressed with, because the other teams have you do the grip thing, run you through just some weird stuff, and like never really kind of dig deep on you, like try to find out who you are.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that.
The Pirate, Mike Sanso came at me with some look in the mirror questions, and like I was able to answer them, and give him a little piece of who I am. Same from his side, and that was definitely like it was like the meeting that was like, okay, that was you
just felt it good in your bones.
Yeah, like, it felt like a part of the org.
Yeah,
already. And but I thought I had it down to 3 teams on draft day. It was the Dodgers, the Pirates, and the pretty much Dodgers. Oh, and the Padres.
Damn,
Dodgers, Padres. Yeah.
I'm sure. I know you won't. I know you wouldn't say it, but I'm sure part of you's got to be like, "Damn, that would have been sick to be part of like either the Dodgers or the Padres." Just so you're closer to home. You got all that there.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, the Dodgers, I can't say that because,
because you were a Giants fan.
yeah, I grew up a Giants fan. So there was like, but what's funny is I went to like a pre-draft workout at Dodger Stadium
That's
to,
sick.
yeah, they had like probably 100 players there throwing bullpens or hitting, and threw a bullpen on the main mound at Dodger
That's sick.
Stadium in front of their whole front office and stuff. But all my people that knew I was going there were like, "Can't believe you're going to the
Can't believe you do
Dodgers."
that. Why would you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that was like I couldn't miss that, and I had like I could have gone to like Atlanta or uh, Baltimore to do
Mhm.
pre-draft workout stuff, but my agent was like, "Pick one. You don't need to travel across the freaking nation to
Yeah.
to throw bullpens." And so I chose the Dodgers and did that.
That's pretty cool. That's got to be a sick
Good bullpen.
experience. I mean, you're gonna hold
Yeah,
on to forever, I'm sure.
yeah, for
Um,
sure.
but then, anyways, draft day comes up. Are you thinking, hey, maybe day one, maybe day two, day three? What was kind of the thought going into that?
I was told by my agent 6 to 10, which I was like, I was fired up about
You're like,
that.
sweet, sounds good to me.
Yeah, I was like, that's miles. Oh, that's miles from just my baseline goal. It was
Yeah.
like, just get drafted, get into pro ball. So 6 to 10 was cool. I was excited. I was like, I was on a high horse because I knew I was going to go.
Mhm.
Being able to say, yeah, I'm going to go in the draft most likely. And leading up to it, I'm just like going crazy because I just wanted it to happen. But day one rolls around. I was like, I'm not going to go today. For sure, not going to go. And my agent called me at the end of the day. He was like, you were in conversations for third round picks. And I'm like,
Damn, let's go.
what?
Jumping up the
Are you
board.
serious? Like that? Yeah. Tomorrow might be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then I don't think I slept that night. I was like excited. And then
I was the same way, except I was just very, very scared and very nervous for what was going to happen.
yeah,
But,
I was like, I was like nervous, but in a good way. I was like, who knows what's going to happen?
yeah.
Like if I just felt like I knew I was going to get drafted, and that was like enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, the next day happens, and you with friends and family, or who you with for the draft?
I woke up the next morning, made some breakfast. It was just me and my mom. We had like some eggs, and she was just giving me anxiety. Like she was like asking me all these questions. My mom just asks questions because she loves me.
She's a
She wants
mom,
to
yeah.
know what's going on. Yeah, she's a mom, and I'm just like, Mom, I don't know. Like I'm probably gonna go today. It's like, do you want to do a party? I'm like, I don't care. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just like I just was trying to be so nonchalant about it. And just whatever. But I was like, hey, I'm gonna go to the driving range for the draft.
Mhm.
And I met a couple of my buddies, Scott Kunihiro and Jesus, just some buddies that I hung out with in high school, and hit some balls and took
Just
a
hung out,
phone
enjoyed the
call.
day, and then all of a sudden you get a
Yeah,
phone call.
I took a phone call from my agent. He was like, "All right, you're kind of on the board here. You're on the block."
Mhm.
And I'm watching Twitter, and it's like the end of the third round. He's like, "All right, keep your phone next to you," and I'm like, "Nice." And then my assistant coach at Cal is the next phone call, and he's like, "Yo, the Padres want to take you in the fourth round," and I'm like, I was like, holy
Yeah.
cow, that's awesome. But
Yeah.
it really wasn't. Like, it was not. That would have been bad. And I was like, no.
Okay.
I was like, no. And it was like, I can't go into that, but
Yeah, you don't have to. Don't worry. I'll cut that a little bit.
and then my agent calls, and I'm like, hey, my assistant coach at college told
Yeah,
me big
your agent
time.
calls and says, "Hey, no, we can't do that. That deal's not going to work
No, and
with the Padres."
he's like, no, he's like, tell your agent to fade you from the Padres. Like, tell that. He goes, because the Pirates are going to take you, and I'm like, okay. So I call my assistant,
Yeah.
and I'm like, no.
Damn.
So and then Mike Sanso calls me next, and he's like, we got you.
Fuck yeah,
Good to
dude.
have you on board. Almost got in a fist fight over this pick. That was something he said, and then
That's awesome.
that was it.
I think it was definitely the right move for them. I am very happy that they picked you, my friend. It's been good to play with you the past couple years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope some of that is able to be compiled.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut a lot of that part, but yeah. Yeah, dude, you get drafted, you fly out to Pittsburgh. I think we actually met for the first time there. And then you flew out to or no, you got on the bus, went up to Morgantown, and I went down to the GCL to catch up with you guys later. But what was some of your first takeaways from pro ball? How'd you like getting to meet some of the Spanish guys, getting to hang out with Beto?
Oh man. Well, I got into the clubhouse in Morgantown, and I immediately recognized that there were dudes in this locker room who not only like looked like grown ass men,
Yeah.
but they were they didn't speak English. Like you just mentioned. And I was like, oh shoot, I have no idea how to act around these guys, because they're on my team, but I can't communicate with them. Or at least I thought I couldn't, even though I know a little bit of Spanish and all this stuff. And I was just, and you just get in, there's so much anxiety, so much going on. But I look to my right, and I look at Alex Manassa, and I thought he was
I don't even
bro. I thought he was Dominican,
dude. I thought the same thing.
Hola. I said hola. I was like, hola.
And he just goes, bro, I'm from Detroit.
Yeah, bro. And I was like, oh my God. Next interaction I have was with a trainer, Jorge. Do you remember Jorge?
Yeah, I remember Jorge.
And everybody's calling him Chipotle because he eats Chipotle a lot, apparently. And I'm literally just trying to like be in the room. Yeah. So I'm like, you like Chipotle? He's like, yeah, I like Chipotle. And then walks out the door. And I'm like,
and knowing how just like straight faced Jorge is, that makes it even funnier.
Yeah. And I was like, oh God, what am I doing?
Shit. Oh, that's pretty funny. Oh man. But hey man, Morgantown, you put up good numbers there. You have a great year. And then you get to show up to spring training the next year. Do you want to talk about the off-season training you did that year, or do you want to skip that part?
No, we can. I mean, I don't have an issue talking about it.
Yeah, then
I just didn't. I literally just kind of hung out, didn't do much,
which is just
didn't
insane.
Train at all.
Which is mind blowing that you just didn't do that. When did you pick up a baseball for the first time that off season?
Oh my God, I fired. It was like late. It was like early January. It was like New Year hit, and it was like, all right, let's pick up baseball.
Damn. Yeah, dude.
Because dude, I'm nuts. Like, I'm in this college mindset still. It was like, I don't like literally. I've always had a rubber arm. Like, I pick up the baseball, do a slow build up, and I'm good.
Yeah,
and I was completely confident in it. Had no.
That's wild. I mean, you showed up to spring training and impressed enough people where you just broke camp at a high A.
Yeah.
And you were there the whole year and you dominated really well.
Yeah. And that season was a good season. It was like it didn't blow anybody out of the water. Like it
No, it
was,
was a solid year, and it was your
but
first full season
yeah,
of pro ball.
yeah, and I got better
Yeah.
and learned some things. And then part of that was like, holy cow, what could I do if I, got stronger and was able to
Yeah.
do this better and faster and all this stuff. So that I was like, holy cow, I'm really good at pitching, and I
Mhm.
didn't even do anything. So doing stuff, training, and trying to get better in the off season. I've put a lot more importance into it now because it just raises the ceiling of everything.
Absolutely.
We all do it.
Yeah. I remember going into 2020 before COVID shut us down, and you were firing on all cylinders already, and I was really impressed. And I remember we had a conversation during that camp saying like both of our goals at the end of the year was to get invited to that fall league. And unfortunately, the whole year gets banged and none of it happens, but you get called and you get to go to the alt site. How was that?
That was that made me feel uh, pretty special. Honestly, it felt like
Yeah.
I was like a part of the picture. I got drafted kind of pretty high. It wasn't like, but I didn't. It was definitely like, I don't know if my season was good enough. So I felt like I was on the bubble for that alt site thing, and I was just when I got the call, I was like, holy cow, and honestly, a lot of my thought in that call was about the 180 guys that aren't like all those guys, and like being in that position. And I was like, holy cow, I'm just lucky to be able to do this and be around baseball
Yeah.
and work with the organization. And I was just thankful that I stayed throwing and in shape from spring training until that call, because I was able to go there, and they eased us into it. It wasn't like just show up and start throwing
It's still
inning
pretty.
outings.
It is still pretty sick though to be invited to that, and also have some of the big league guys coming down there too once in a while. What was there any big notable names that you were like really happy to spend some time with?
Just to be facing really good hitters was like my favorite part of the whole thing. And they're like just a lot of cool dudes, hitters, pitchers, coaches. We had Hanaran. TJ was still there at the time. Minkasi was there. And basically I was low on the totem pole. I was a young guy. Me, Max, and Cody, Ogle, and Mearsy, and we're all kind of like, it was our first. Mears went to the fall league, so he was kind of a little bit.
He was different,
different mindset maybe, but we were all in it, kind of like white belt mentality. Let's take advantage of this camp kind of deal, or what we do get to participate in. And facing guys like Brito, who else came down? Ozuna, Cruzy was there.
Yep.
Castro, Bay, Mason Martin, and then like Ozuna came down a couple times. We had really good hitters there. And those were the only guys I faced all year. It was just pirates.
That is pretty sick lineup to be going up against. You mentioned Nick Mears, and I mean, I know how close you two are. You guys live together in the off season usually. And then he got to make his debut during that season and being one of his close friends. What was it like, being able to be there and share that moment with him?
Well, I was with my girlfriend at the time, and Mears got the call, and I think we had an off day coming up. So Hannah and I went to, literally went to Pittsburgh.
Oh, you did? You drove out there?
Yeah.
That's sick.
We couldn't go to the game, obviously.
Yeah.
But we were like, let's go to Pittsburgh, see if, it's my guy. It's
Yeah.
debuting. So we
That's
got a
your boy.
hotel, and we just watched the game in the hotel. But that was pretty cool. It's just cool to see your freaking best buddy
Make it, yeah.
debut in the big leagues.
Yeah, no, I remember watching it from home, being fired up, jumping up and down, like just fist bumping every time he threw fastball by somebody.
Yeah. And he earned it too. And
Yeah.
it was that was cool, man. And just proud of him, and that was cool. He got up there, and he was the first guy in the 2018 class to debut,
only guy?
and wasn't even drafted.
Is he the only guy from our class to debut?
Yeah,
I think so, right?
Swaggerty probably would have this year.
Yeah, Swaggerty. He'll do that next year. He'll do that next year. That's no doubt with him. Yeah. That's sick. Yeah, it's unreal. Hopefully a bunch more of us get to say that in the years to come.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like you said though, you started crushing in the off season. You dominate going into 2021. You're all ready to go. I saw some videos of you and Meyers throwing. You guys are throwing the crap out of plyo balls. And then you get two pretty, conflicting phone calls in one day, right? I'm not sure if they're in the same day. I know they were pretty close, that back to back.
Yeah.
How tough was that to kind of have that low and then that high, so back to back? If you want to, kind of talk more about what I'm referencing.
Yeah. Well, basically after the alt site, it was a big off season because that was a good indicator, probably because that was a kind of like big league spring training was the alt site, right? So I knew I was probably going to go to a big league spring training the next year, and obviously don't want to be a minor leaguer forever. So, let's get to work and be ready, build a good engine for it. Really worked, just got after it in the off season. Did some like really high intensity velo training, throwing weighted balls, just really trying to unlock the gas. Cause it's always been there. But as a starter, you don't pour it out.
You don't tap into that as much.
Yeah. And Mears and I hung out a lot. We liked training with each other because he felt like he wanted more command like I had. And me, velo. He obviously threw hard. So like, I'm going to listen up and see what this guy's got. So that was what was going on. And basically on kind of my last, like the tail end of some velo phase stuff, I had some pull downs, and I was absolutely letting it rip. And I had
just getting after it, trying to break records.
It was like four personal records in one day. And I did 2 extra throws too, because I was so fired up about it. And I'm totally guilty of thinking I just was invincible, straight up.
Yeah.
With what I built and like my history, never injury, never any problems. Just like, then I do a pull down, and it was freaking hard, but I felt something pop in my elbow, and then it kind of was just tender afterwards, and didn't really think it was Tommy John, but it was definitely something like a flexor.
Yeah, you knew
or something
was wrong.
Yeah. So I just kind of let her sit and marinate for a couple of weeks, because I really wasn't like, oh, I'm blown out, like I can't do this. But I did take some time off to, get myself, if it's just a flexor, you can
rest it, it'll heal and it'll be good to go.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
TJ is a whole other story.
Yeah. And basically take some time off and then try to build up again. And I just couldn't throw a baseball over 80 miles an hour without really hurting. And that was when I kind of decided to call my agent. I was like, hey, I'm having some elbow issues. And I can't throw over 80 without wanting to cry. I can't do my job. I was like, I literally just can't do my job. I hurt myself.
Yeah.
And go to the doctor that next week, get an MRI. And later that day, I had a morning appointment. Later that day, my doctor calls me and he says, hey, man, you're partially torn. Definitely going to recommend surgery for you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang it. That sucks. And I was like parking my car in San Francisco. I forgot what street.
But then I remember you telling me this. You find out shortly after you get another phone call too from the Pirates, right?
Yeah. I basically get a call from my doctor. It's like, do you need surgery? I got you booked for Wednesday next week. So I'm like, crap. And I think I called all three of my parents, my stepdad, mom, and dad.
Yeah.
Just told them, hey, I'm going to get surgery next week. I blew out. And the next call I get was from the Pirates. And it was an invitation to big league spring training.
Damn.
And I was like, holy cow, first, it wasn't like a bummer phone call. It was like, thank you so much. And like, I can't even remember now.
It's got to be just overwhelming. Like you're getting the call to come to big league camp.
It was like,
and
it was
for those
handled
people
the call
listening
professionally, of course, but like I had to, of course, say at the end that unfortunately I literally just found out I need Tommy John, and then that was it. And the impression after the phone call was I was still going to be a part of spring training, and whatever. But I knew immediately. I was like, I'm just going to get scratched. Somebody else is going to get, the invite. That's the way she goes. And that was it. And then I got surgery that next week and started my rehab in Sacramento.
Yep. I think you've been down here in Pirate City a bunch for that too. And here we are today, hoping that next year, next year's the year. Because I was talking to somebody at the pitch camp we had, and we're at the point now where every year is potentially the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. We're going to start winning very soon.
Dude, I'm excited for it, man. I'm excited for it. That leads me into one of the last questions I love to ask everybody. When do you think me, you, and the Pirates are going to be winning the World Series? Because it's going to happen. We're going to be a scary team.
2024.
2024? 24, 25?
Those 2 years, man, like that's when everybody's kind of coming into it.
Yeah.
Into the big picture. Just the way, some of our top prospects are lined up and their ages and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I hope there's an element of when that time comes of selling out on the part of I'm sure it will be just selling out, bro. Like
just going all out for doing everything we can to put together the team.
Yeah, as an organization, even outside of players and coaches, just selling out.
Yeah.
And going and getting it because it's baseball, man. It's time and time again. Is it proven that money doesn't win games? It helps, but you can.
It's the culture and the chemistry.
Yeah, the culture and the chemistry, and you look at Greensboro and Altoona and Bradenton.
Yeah, Greensboro lost in their championship. Bradenton won their championship.
Altoona, everybody just learned how to win.
Yeah, we underperformed,
And
but we were also losing like our best players to some minor injuries and Castro to the big leagues where he was setting records. Like,
yeah,
we're gonna be there. I'm not worried at all about that Altoona squad, even though the record didn't show that. But hey, man, this has been awesome. But the last question I'd like to ask everybody before we go: if you could go back in time and talk to Aaron Shortridge when he was 16 years old, what advice would you give him?
I'd say don't be afraid to um, go after what you want. Like if I was
Yeah,
16, again, knowing what I know now, I would I'd just go after it right away. I
just
wouldn't
go
let
after it.
things get in the way. Yeah.
That's awesome,
Yep.
dude. Thank you so much for coming on. Is there anything else you want to touch on before we go?
No, dude. Just thank you for having me on,
Of course.
and always a pleasure. We've
Yeah.
always had good baseball talks throughout our journeys. So another one.
Another one. Thanks for coming on, Shorty. Oh, where can people find you on social media?
Oh shoot, I don't even know my handles. I should probably know that.
I'll tag you on Instagram and Twitter.
Aaron Shortridge. Just search my name. Not a lot of people have my name, so
Sounds good. Thanks for coming on,
how
man.
you find me. Yep. Thanks, Brad.